But to duos though.
Back to the duo
First
conversation.
Should we start with some of our favorite? I'm trying to think if we should do ones from the past, like all time, or start with like current ones and then maybe work our way to.
Yeah, we'll start with our favorite current ones.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
A lot.
You know, one that I never really realized was such a good duo up until this year was, well, I mean, I did, but not to this extent, was Steph and Draymond. It's almost like they, even though like him and Clay were the Splash Bros, like that's the duo you think of when you think of like Steph's guy, but it's almost like Draymond is low-key just as much of an important, he honestly is just as much of an important piece to Curry's game than Clay is. If you watch the game, it's very, evident. I mean, in the game that Curry hit like 11 threes and 3/4 a couple of days ago, Draymond had 16 of those 16 assists. And like 90% of those were just to Curry. Like at this point, they played together for so long that like just those two know how to destroy another team's offense.
Well, and the thing with them too is they cover so much of the basketball court.
Yeah, right.
Like Steph is everything. Like Steph can cover the whole court, and Draymond's obviously his main focus is in the paint, which he does rather well.
And his defense is, he gets. Yeah. A while ago, he said he called himself one I don't know if he called himself the best defender of all time or one of the best, and he's getting clowned on. I'll preface this by saying I do not think he's the best defender of all time.
Yeah.
But people were not giving enough credit though, because it's not even just his individual defense. What it is his whole IQ on the defensive end. He knows where everybody should be.
Yes.
He's a savant of defense, pretty much. He knows where everybody on his team should be. He holds all of them accountable. He makes mistakes too, yes.
Obviously.
Yeah. But for the most part, he's one of the most. He's like a defensive. If there's a defensive MVP award, I guess that's just D-Play. Defensive Player of the Year, which he's got before. It's just he's such an important piece to their defense. Like when he's on the floor, everybody on the floor is just locking teams down.
Yes. Yep.
So he's very important to that team, and it's like what he lacks on offense, Curry's got him more than covered. And then vice versa too. Curry's not known for being a very good defender.
Yeah.
And Draymond.
But that's why they work so well together. Is because
mesh,
well, and going back to his IQ is. He always knows where to get the ball. And I mean, he has his moments where he dribbles it down and loses it.
Yeah, but
he's got to try.
I didn't even talk about his offense and his playmaking. I just, other than his defense, he's an incredible passer. And although he's not known as himself being a great scorer, like he doesn't shoot a lot, he's not a great shooter or finisher. Like he's not bad, but
definitely got some of the best court vision in the league.
100%. And he doesn't, as much as I used to hate him, he was probably the most hated player in the NBA for a while, back in prime Warriors. Yeah. And still, a lot of people don't like him. I only really realized in the past year or two how good he actually was. So I honestly think he does not get nearly enough credit for how important of a player he is to that team.
And it's not even necessarily how good he actually is, but just how valuable he is. Yes,
that's exactly it. Him individually as a player is not very good, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people will be like, Draymond's only good because he's got crazy talent teammates around him, right? But at the same time, that is very true, right? But at the same time, he also makes them so much better.
He does.
I mean, Curry can still drop 30 regardless, right? But Draymond makes it probably twice, at least twice as easier for Curry to get.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be a whole game of Curry creating his own step-back threes or whatever, and he can hit those. Yeah. Or it's a game where Draymond just hits screens, finds it in the right spot, and it's wide open.
Exactly.
He's so important. I don't think the Warriors, if we're talking about the days before Kevin Durant, I do not think they have any. I don't even know if they make the finals if they don't have Draymond.
I'd be skeptical.
Because Steph and Clay is such a good duo, but they needed Draymond on that team. They're all so important to it.
Oh yeah.
But I guess just back to the present now that Clay is out, we're it sucks. I'm so excited for him to come back. But right now we're seeing how well Steph and Draymond work.
Yeah.
And we never really saw that as much before because we never really realized it with Clay. And
Well, and another thing about Draymond is just kind of how he plays the game. He allows these big time players, Steph, Clay, and KD, to do their own thing and really play their own game while he's getting 10 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, and probably 10 plus assists as well.
3 blocks, 5 steals.
He's all over the place.
He does everything.
He's I would say more of a team captain sometimes than Steph.
I think he just straight up is, and that's not a knock on Curry. Curry's the leader of that team in terms of in terms of like their superstar and their offensive player, right? But I think Draymond's the true like anchor to that team, if that makes sense.
Curry might be the brain, Draymond's the backbone.
Yeah, exactly. Draymond's like, yeah, that's a great way to put it.